Mongolia is a paradise for those who love nature and freedom. It is twice the size of Texas and is one of the last remaining nomadic nations on Earth. Mongolian herders live in portable tents called gers, with an average herd of around 300 animals. With over 65% of the country covered in vast serene grasslands, Mongolia is home to an astonishing population of nearly 70 million livestock, predominantly sheep, goats, and cattle. Mongolian nomads migrate seasonally, relying on natural cues such as the instinctive movements of swans and the changing mountains in order to sustain their livelihoods. These farmers are harvesting hay in a field 300 kilometers from Mongolia's capital, Ulaanbaatar. This hay does not grow naturally, but was cultivated in order to provide livestock with food during the winter, which lasts around 4 months. Most people will move to the lower elevations in order to avoid the cold, which is becoming increasingly harsh due to climate change. The livestock of Mongolia have evolved to have thick fur and hides with small humps, as well as long, thin horns to be able to withstand temperatures as low as -50°C or droughts in some areas. But every few years, more than 7 million livestock tragically dies due to the devastating natural phenomenon of blizzards. These are accompanied by droughts known as dzud in Mongolia. Scattered across the country, more than 1/3 of Mongolia's population live as nomadic herders, just as how their ancestors have lived since 3000 BC. When you live in nature, you've got to live by nature's rules. As the snow gradually melts and the first tentative signs of spring begin to emerge, the nomadic Mongolians embark on the next migration in April on the backs of horses and camels. They give each livestock a checkup to ensure they are regaining their health well after the snowy winter. The baby livestock are also given special care and weaned. This is often when the Mongols hold a small ceremony to show gratitude to the ancestors for helping them to survive the harsh winter. In the summer, grass grows more abundantly, but the Mongolian herders still move the cows a lot in order to give the pasture time to regrow and prevent worm infestation for the livestock. They can't graze on the same pasture for 2 consecutive years. The Ujimquin cow is a popular dairy cow raised by the Mongols. It can produce 500 to 600 litres of milk during its lactation period of 5 months. Inside this ger is where the nomadic families live and make various products from their livestock, such as fermented milk and dried meat. The livestock stay close to the ger at night and leave the ger in the morning to graze around freely. They roam freely and the cow herds check their location and numbers every few days. While urban dwellers may feel the need to guard against other humans, these nomadic Mongols face a different type of danger: the cunning grey wolf and the elusive snow leopard. And helping with this task for generations and all year round is the Mongolian Bankar livestock guardian dogs. Summertime in Mongolia is also a time for celebration, as it marks the annual Nadam festival, which showcases the nation's prowess through horse riding, archery, and wrestling. All of these skills are important for nomadic herders, who have to hunt down the predators for the herd and their own sake. Early autumn or late summer is when the Mongols are busiest, because they have to move to the autumn pasture, prepare warm clothes, and air-dry beef for the upcoming winter. They make the difficult decision to slaughter the animals with old age or poor health. This is because these animals are less likely to make it through the tough winters. The remaining animals are thrown into a disinfectant bath or used other methods to cure parasites. They are then fattened in preparation for winter, so they are also fed other foods in addition to fresh grass from the fields. Farewell to the nomadic lands of Mongolia. We are going 6,000 feet high, heading to the mountainous regions of Europe like the Alps and Pyrenees, to see how the millions of livestock here are raised on the fresh green pastures. In Italy, migration has been regulated into a ritual that takes place twice a year, with farmers consistently following the same path and arriving at the same region every season. These migration routes are so well established and widely used that they even acquired their own distinctive names, known as trattori in Italian, and this migration tradition is called transhumance. In preparation for winter, herders will start their migration on these routes in late autumn. This journey could last several days, perhaps even stretching into weeks. However, the ultimate destination remains remarkably consistent throughout generations. For example, a shepherd starting from a city in central Italy called L'Aquila would invariably make their way towards Foggia in the southern part of the country, with a few stops along the way. While Italian transhumance was predominantly focused on the Italian migration of sheep, it is not uncommon for cattle or goats as well. Transhumance shepherds have their own cozy places to stay, both in the summer and winter pastures, so they can always be right there with their herds. Before starting the migration, farmers will attach a bell to some selected livestock for easier management on the road. In France, shepherds move their herds to mountain pastures each summer. This allows the sheep to graze on fresh grass and prevents overgrazing in one area. Then the shepherds will bring the sheep back to the lower lying lands for winter. The biggest sheep herd recorded in France that migrates seasonally was 7,400. According to the latest report, every year there are around 6.3 million livestock, including sheep, cattle and goats, that migrate from place to place here. Now we're off to a farm in America. Here, amidst the towering trees and verdant foliage, farmers tend to their cattle in a serene forest environment. When the trees leaf out, they provide gentle shade, keeping the area cool for the grazing cattle. This also helps to protect the grass from getting too much or too little sunlight. In the eastern United States, cold season grasses are commonly used because they thrive in partially shaded conditions. Raising cattle this way also provides free fertilizer for the soil and controls weeds naturally. This symbiotic farming model is called silvopasture. Every 2 to 5 years, a controlled burn is done to improve forage quality and reduce parasite load. It is estimated that a staggering 1.36 billion acres of land across the globe are currently dedicated to silvopasture practices. Farmers also implement rotational grazing practices, moving cattle between various pastures for similar purposes. Approximately 100 to 600 rapidly growing trees are typically planted per hectare in these silvopasture systems. Cattle can stay in the shade whenever they want, drink water whenever they want, and graze wherever they want. The farmer doesn't need to spend too much on a barn because the cattle use the forest as a natural shelter to avoid wind and snow in winter and the heat of the sun in summer. It is estimated that silvopasture is currently practiced on 550 million hectares in the US. The diverse diet, which includes a variety of grasses, forbs and tree leaves, contributes to a rich natural flavour profile and increased marbling. The slower growth rate commonly associated with silvopasture systems allows for better development of muscle fibres, resulting in tenderer meat. Coming to a cattle farm where each day is filled with countless different tasks related to raising livestock, it can be overwhelming. But technological robots can solve that. Let's watch how farmers use robots to raise millions of dairy cows and goats. Cow's milk is one of the most popular daily consumer products worldwide. Demand for cow's milk and dairy products, such as yogurt, cheese, and butter, is always high, especially in developed countries. The US, Germany, and the Netherlands are large cow milk producing countries with advanced livestock technology and large production scale. The application of robot technology in dairy farming has brought great benefits. In the US, farms using automated technology have increased productivity by 20%, which has helped reduce manual labour costs and improve milk quality. In the Netherlands, milk yields increased by 10 to 15%, thanks to the use of milking robots, along with reduced disease incidence and improved animal welfare. High-producing dairy cows will eat 110 to 120 pounds of fresh feed per day, or 50 to 55 pounds of dry feed per day. When cows produce more milk, they eat more. A typical diet for dairy cows may include about 30 to 35 pounds of baled hay. Because of the huge amount of food, preparing food for dairy cows also takes up a lot of time. Besides regular farm work, farmers must manage lush pastures in order to ensure quality feed from the fields. The lawnmower runs in the fields, helping farmers harvest more quickly. And when it comes to the barn, the grass still retains its freshness. Feeding equipment helps farmers manage the diet of each dairy cow, ensuring they will receive the amount of feed they need based on their nutritional needs. This machine will automatically fix different types of food and distribute it evenly and accurately. On large farms in the US, feeding technology has helped reduce feed waste by up to 20%, helping to improve feed efficiency and ensure optimal development for dairy herds. With about 100 pounds of food per day after digestion, what they eat will also be excreted. The amount of stool each day is truly terrible. Luckily, they have a robot that removes the manure for these 350 dairy cows. These small robots go around the floor and clean up every corner of the coop. Automatic milking systems can choose the milking time and record detailed data. All information is regulated by robots and can be accessed via computers. Farmers can check the health and productivity of their livestock from a distance. When a dairy cow walks in, the system scans an identification tag. The gate closes and secures the dairy cow in the cage. A robot arm begins to work. Based on the numbers on the tag, the machine knows the exact body shape and udder of each dairy cow. A robotic arm with a rolling brush simultaneously cleans the teat and stimulates them, causing the cow to start secreting milk. There is another arm holding 4 plastic tubes attached to a transparent tank. One by one, it places the open ends of the tube against the nipple. The tubes then act as small pumps that pump out the milk at a rate customized to each cow's performance. This system even checks the quality of milk. If the milk is not up to human consumption, it is transferred to a separate container to be fed to the farm's calves, who wait eagerly in the barn for a bottle. If the milk is good, it will be collected and put straight into the udder from the farm's mechanical processing system. Milking cows is the most important job in the dairy farming process, and it is also the most difficult step. Most dairy farms milk their cows twice a day. This job requires high physical strength. Workers are willing to work around the clock every day of the week. The US Department of Agriculture says technology can help save up to nearly 30% of the cost of milking cows. And spending less time on the farm allows farmers to focus on off-farm tasks and helps them to maintain profitability. Wisconsin is the perfect place to buy all of your cow's milk locally. The entire state has around 1.3 million dairy cows. And with that abundant amount of fresh milk, farmers take cheese production very seriously. This is the only state in the US that requires a special license to sell any type of cheese, including curds. On average, for every 10 pounds of milk, farmers can produce around 1 pound of cheese. Besides cow's milk, goat's milk is increasingly popular due to its many health benefits, such as being easier to digest than cow's milk and containing more nutrients. Demand for goat milk is especially high in Europe and Asia. Australia and New Zealand are major goat milk producing countries, famous for their advanced livestock technology and clean production processes. Just like the dairy cows, milking technology is applied in dairy goat farming to increase efficiency and reduce manual labour. In Australia, dairy goat farms use modern milking machines and have increased their productivity by 20% compared to traditional methods. Besides milking, the system also records data on the output and health status of each dairy goat. In 2022, the number of dairy goats worldwide was 1.4 billion. They are raised on around 100 million farms in many different countries. Dairy goats are easy to raise animals that can live in many different climatic conditions, from tropical to temperate regions. A cool barn climate is suitable for goats to grow and develop healthily. Besides this, hot weather around 35 degrees can cause goats to suffer from heat stress, reducing fertility and increasing the risk of disease. To own a healthy dairy goat herd, farmers will change the bedding regularly. Dry straw will help absorb waste from the dairy goats. Dairy goats can breed all year round, but the best time to breed is in winter. During this period, farmers need to provide the most suitable temperature and humidity to ensure goat health and milk yield. Raising methods are being changed every day to make dairy goat farming more efficient. On these farms, feeding systems are also used to ensure nutritionally adequate rations. In Australia, large farms have used feeders to distribute feed efficiently, reducing feed waste by 15% and ensuring a suitable diet for dairy goats. Israel produces 11.1 million litres of goat milk each year. With more than 2,400 families raising dairy goats, 30 of these are closed farms that process their own milk. And they are also gradually applying science and technology to their livestock farming process. The sensor system helps monitor health indicators, thereby detecting early signs of disease and oestrus cycles. US farms using this health monitoring technology have reduced disease mortality by 25%. improving the health and milk yield of their goat herds. The application of robotic technology in dairy cows and goat farming has brought great benefits, from production efficiency to improved animal health and welfare. In the future, the development of technology applications promises to bring many great things to farmers and the livestock industry.